Okay, welcome back, parents, teachers, mentors, and business owners. Welcome back to my channel From Son to Man, where we discuss mental health, trauma, and self development. And if those are topics that interest you, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you touch the notification bell button. That way, you don't miss out on any video that we upload. And today's topic is going to be the continuation of my book, Dying to Live. We are going into part one of Surviving the Uncontrollable, but survival strategy number two, which is chapter two in my book, and that is called Knowing Self Love is from Within. And so, with picking up the chapter from chapter one, let's start off with the quote of chapter two. It says, "If you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be." And that is by Maya Angelou. And the beginning of that, so we're going to start with the beginning of the lesson, and then I'll tell the story, and then we'll pick up of the lessons that we learned and how we're going to close the first part of surviving the uncontrollable. Okay, and so it says, opinions are thoughts expressed by someone. Some opinions hold a lot of weight depending on the relationship between you and the person who is giving their opinion. If your mother or father gave you their opinion about your future, then you will strive hard to become your best for them. If a random person tried to give you their opinion on your future, it will be easier for you to ignore them if you don't like what they are saying. Be mindful that everyone is entitled to have an opinion, but you also have the choice to choose not to let it affect you. And what a great opening. Definitely great opening. And so I want to pick up from where I left off from chapter one, which is me being born and found out that Shannon Sr. was not my biological father. And so going into chapter two, I open up with the absence of D, who is now to be my father, pretty much based on appearances. So me and D never had the closest relationship, especially with everything that was going on. When I was younger, I didn't see him much, especially elementary years, because he was a fast mover. Like he definitely was hustling a lot. So it was times that I would see him from a distance, but not up close. Meaning, like I would hear his car bumping loud music blocks away, but when it time was time to ride past my house, that's exactly what he did. Just roll past. I saw him really just go by, not stopping or anything. And I always wonder what it was that he didn't stop. And so, since we didn't have a close connection to each other, I always had a picture of him. I had a photo of him. He had some cornrows in his head, and he had like a navy blue shirt with some khakis, and he was sitting in his car, and he was throwing up the peace sign. And so I used to stick that picture on my wall because I knew I looked like him, and so I just wanted to become more of him. So I started to grow out my hair, and the hair was the first step to wanting to find my identity. So when I started growing my hair, my mother, she used to braid my hair in cornrows, and she, every time she got done, she'll be like, "Man, you look just like that man. You look just like that man." And I always wondered, like, if I looked like him, then why isn't he around? If we know I'm his, then why isn't he around? So it's those things, and I got so in tune with my hair because he had long hair that I just let it continuously grow and grow. And what happened was I got so familiar with hair that anytime my mom wouldn't braid my hair or something, I would just lose it. Like I didn't want to wear like a ponytail in my hair. I always wanted the curling rolls straight to the back. And got to a point that she was braiding my hair so much, and soon I got it taken down, she'll braid it right back up, that I start feeling the pattern of how to braid as she was braiding my hair. So I will feel the loops go in and out of my hair to the point that I probably can really braid now. And it's just showing a way of how in tune I really was with my hair once I got it. Now, with my hair, for me, it was because of my father. I grew my hair because I wanted to be a reflection of my father. But to others, it started being something totally different as a look of being feminine. So a lot of times when I was in school, I used to wear, I had a red earring and I had long hair. And I'm not gonna lie, now I definitely was in a public school, and a lot of the times some of the females may have had shorter hair. So when a guy back then did have much longer hair than them, then they looked at it as something to antagonize. And that was for the females. And for the males, it was something for them to also antagonize, because to them, boys shouldn't have long hair. And so it started so much of me just wanting to be my father that I didn't notice what other people were trying to tell me. So it was this time in about 4th or 5th grade. We was outside for recess and all the kids were playing. And I decided to go to the basketball court to play basketball with the boys. So I told them, I'm like, hey, I got next. You know, if don't nobody got next, you know, I got next. And so when the team lost, they decided to run it back and not let me, you know, have next and pick my team. And so I'm like, why y'all ain't let me, you know, pick my team? I said I had next. And one of the boys was like, well, shouldn't you be playing with the girls? Said she got long hair. Like, what do my hair have to do with me hooping? They like, well, you should just go play with the girls since you look like one. And I'm like, at the time, like, I was crushed, like, dang, these are supposed to be, you know, boys that I'm in class with, that I should be getting along with, and this is how they treat me. And so I felt so crushed after that. I did. I walked away and just felt like I was just a lost little puppy. For real. And so then after that, I went inside and I remember speaking to my teacher. She was so helpful and her message was so powerful. And she just kept continuing to tell me, Shannon, walk in your purpose. Don't let them bully you. Stick up for yourself. If you know that you're not a girl, don't believe them. Just giving me all of these words of encouragement that I wasn't receiving from my parents. And so it kind of was really helpful. So I decided to continue to go outside for recess. And from then, I started connecting with females more. I remember when I first got my real connection in with a group of females. It was a girl named Ashley. Her name was Ashley, and she like, hey Shannon, you want to play? I'm like, sure. I didn't know what she was playing. I was just like, somebody asked me, did I want to play? This is all I want. I want to feel like I fit in. I want to have friends. This is what you want when you're in elementary. And so she like, come on. So I ran over there to her. She was with a group of girls, and she was like, here, turn for me. And I'm like, turn for you? And she was handing me a jump rope. And I'm like, I don't know if I should really be turning a rope. I'm a boy. And she's like, it's fun. And I'm like, okay, I'll turn. And I kind of really had a little crush on her too. So I'm like, you know what? I'll turn. If you want to play, let's play. So I started turning for her. And she was jumping. So when she got done, she's like, okay, now it's your turn. I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. Like, turning is one thing, but now you trying to have me jumping rope? And they already talking about me. And she like, come on, it's fun. And I'm just like, you know what? I really can't connect with the boys. I have an opportunity to have a friend, and now I'm pushing her back. So I'm like, okay, let me jump. So I started jumping, and honestly, when I was jumping, it felt like a wind of fresh air. Like everyone was like cheering because I didn't know I knew how to jump, and I'm sure they didn't know I knew how to jump either. So they was just cheering me on, and after that, recess after recess, that's what I was doing. I was turning ropes for the girls, or I was jumping in for them. It was times that I decided that I just would turn for them if they needed an extra person, if they was competing, or just the little stuff that girls do with jump ropes. But the feeling that I had was completely different than the feeling that I got from the court. Like, I felt like the girls were okay with me. Like, they accepted that I enjoyed just jumping. It wasn't about a sexuality of me liking boys or me liking girls. It was just me trying to be a kid, and the best way to be a kid for me may have been doing feminine things that only girls are looked at to do. But it helped me in a sense because I wanted something to feel like I was connected. And so when I got so far from playing with boys, I decided the best way for me to grow a connection with boys was to join the elementary basketball team. So I joined the team. I made the team. It was a lot of commotion still because I wasn't the best hooper. It's like boys, they found every single thing to nitpick at me. Even if they did something even worse or just anything, they were more focused on making me to blame for things or making trouble for me because of my feminine ways. Now, with that, I want people to understand that it's a difference between being gay and having feminine traits. Now, being gay is a sexual preference. When I was in elementary, I didn't have a sexual preference. I just had traits of things that only girls are looked to do, but I enjoyed doing it. Like dancing. Dancing was another thing. I loved to dance. My family loved for me to dance for them. And from there, it was just different traits that I was picking up from my mother, my granny, my female cousins. Like, I didn't have a lot of macho or male figures in my life to teach me certain traits or to tell me to stop doing certain traits. So I connected close to females. So being on the basketball team, I ran into 3 types of bullies. Now, the first bully, his name was Cordy. Now, this bully, his mom and my mom was close friends. We stayed across the street from each other. And this bully would say that, we were friends. One minute he wanted to play, but the moment that we got in front of a crowd, he always wanted to fight me. It was times that I really started being scared of this guy. Like, he always wanted to fight me. He would chase me home from school. He would always threaten me, telling me how he was going to beat me up for Lord knows what reason. He was just wanted to be a bully. And so one time I thought I was it's funny because one time I thought I was really running home from school to stay away from him, because I'm this small little scrawny boy for real, and this guy was pretty big. He was in the same class, in the same grade, but he was much bigger than me. And so he caught me before I could make it home. And I'm like, okay. So when he grabbed me, I'm like, so why are we fighting? What did I do to you? And he like, stop talking, you punk, you sissy, you're gonna fight me. And so I'm like, I don't wanna fight you. So when he grabbed me, I was so terrified, like, okay, so if I don't do nothing now, then he can really do something to harm me. So I just grabbed his face and I just latched onto his ear. I bit his ear.